All right, everyone, I've had an absolute boatload of people inquire on this bike over the months. It's got a brand new Puick double bubble on the front, still has the golfer lines, EBC race centered HH pads, brand new air filter for the RCC turbo kit. Not going to take the tank off. You all know what an RCC Stage 2 Ultra looks like if you've looked at it. This is the wire for the Heeltech quick shifter, which is an auto blipper as well and works perfectly fine after hours of troubleshooting. Yes, that is my real license plate. No, you can't steal it. This is a black and gold chain with a brand new Vortex sprocket in the rear. Brand new up front is an 18. This is an 1843 stock kit. Why? Because then you can grip on the street and roll race. 190/55, 17 RS11 Bridgestones. Yeah, everybody calls them battle craps. Wrong. The RS11s are badass. They work wonderful on a Hayabusa. They're made for the H2 from the factory. That's why I'm running them. This is a dual catch can right here. Boom. Works like a freaking champ. New drain system. Works like a champ. The old thing was a piece of shit. A petcock. Works like a champ. It's dropped. One in the rear, two in the front. Braided steel lines, like I mentioned. Rear pads are EBC centered HH. I have, if you can see it, the Walbro GSL396, aka Tia America, now has a fresh Amsoil Metric 10W40 oil change, which has worked well. However, I will probably be going back to Castrol just because I did have one slight slip of the clutch at very high RPM testing it, and that was a little, well, scary at 200 miles per hour. Of course, on the streets of Mexico. Here we have your tile wastegate. We have dual fans. They kick on at 80 degrees centigrade, full on at 85. Here's your good old snail, aka custom comp turbo, made for Richard at RCC Turbos. Here we have our golfer brake lines that I mentioned. Up here, if I can get a good picture of it, I doubt it because the lighting sucks. There's a 50 millimeter tile wastegate there. LED headlight. All the aftermarket stuff like your Vortex easy release cap. Clamp here to hold it down. It's also got clamps on the Ultra intercooler on either side. We've got these nice grips. Nice CNC machined shorty levers. The AEM air fuel ratio boost controller has, or boost gauge, does not work great. There's a short in one of the wires on the actual wiring harness. It probably just needs to be repinned. I can show you what I'm talking about. So see, it didn't come on. I pinched the back of it, it comes on. So it's one of the wires is loose, and that's the only reason it's not working 100% correct. This is your actual mileage, 34,225. Okay, everybody's gonna freak out. Oh, it's got over 30,000 miles. Oh my God, that's too much for a Busa. Well, that's because most people baby Busas and don't ride them like they're supposed to be. This is a sport touring bike made to go hundreds of thousands of miles, at least 150 without an engine rebuild if you're not a moron two-stepping it at 12,500 RPMs like this one is set to at 12,500 for its red line. Two-step comes in at 6,000. I'll do another video with two-stepping so you can see it that it still works perfectly fine. This is a custom tune based off of Richard at RCC Turbo. His tune that he does for the secondary fuel injectors being 62 pounds, and then also having a billet fuel rail, which it's under here. Also has a GM3 bar map sensor. It is tuned on ECU editor through the stock ECU. Has Rob at Boosted Cycle Performances bracket kit that he fabricates that holds the AMS 1000 tuner under the rear seat cowl, as well as a fuse block. There's also a block for the wiring, which is exceptionally beefy compared to stock. The gauges are improved. It's a 10 gauge for your, I think it's 10 if I remember, for your positive and your negative main wires and your grounding wires and everything else. There is a inline fuel pump or a water pump. I can't show you it because it's like right about there behind that, but you can see the authentic RCC silicone and the hose and the new filter Kickstand stock. Yeah, the pegs need to be changed, honestly. This is a land speed record style swing arm with a Tiger Racing extended chain guard. New license plate holder, of course. It can go either way. I've got it this way so it's tighter to the bike. Stock wheels with worldwide ceramic bearings front and rear. The motor has Wasner rods and pistons. AP hardware for main studs. For head studs are oversized. Manual chain tensioner. The timing's been checked. It's got the higher duration stock cams in it, so higher lift than some of the earlier models had. Some Gen 2s also came with a lower duration cam. This one does not have that. Timing's been checked. Spark plugs just replaced with, of course, NGK CR9E. Also changed the coils for brand new stock. Also has a brand new rectifier. So even though the dealership is showing that there is a recall on the rectifier, which if you didn't know and you have a Hayabusa, get it done. It is relocated with the Schnitz Racing kit to behind your fairing here. You can't see it, it's right smack dab there. This is the only damage on the bike, crack right there. That was because it was laid over by the previous owner that briefly had it, fell in his shed. He didn't ever race it or anything. I had the stock oil cap pop off on me, God knows how, but it did. That's an aftermarket. So anyways, enough talking, let's hear a run. It's gonna be a pain, sorry. So it's on the stand and freewheeling. Let's hear the two-step since it's in first. Well, it won't do it because the clutch isn't engaged. Hold on. So, alright, we've heard it. And it goes back to idle fine. So, enough of that. Don't want to piss off the whole neighborhood. So, anyways, you're interested. Don't waste my time with your junky trade if it's some rust out, clapped out piece of crap. I'm sick and tired of those things. People have been wasting my time now for many months. Reason I'm selling this, I had stage 4 cancer. If you've seen my listing on Facebook or you've seen my TikTok, you understand why I'm selling it, or you should. Why? You want to say? That's why. Major surgery. So, what that is a high-pec surgery due to colon cancer. I'm also a big proponent. I will tell everyone needs to go get a colonoscopy if you're in your 40s, not 50s anymore. So if you're coming up near 45, yeah, it's not too early, folks. Go get checked out. I nearly died from it. I'm lucky to have lived. I had a great support system with my wife and also with several friends that have helped through this. But unfortunately, due to the side effect and the complication, which the complication is a surgical hernia that I had on that scar that you saw. And whenever I ride this, since I have to lean forward, it causes me to have an aggravation of the surgical hernia. Do I want to get rid of this? Hell no. Who would? It's a 400 horsepower, daily rideable bike. Even in 90 to 100 degree weather, this thing does not overheat. How is that? Well, I've spent hours, no, strike that, days of my own time and months getting the correct parts, the correct people to work on it, talking with the correct people in the industry. That is Richard at RCC Turbos, who built this turbo kit, Rob Boers at Boosted Cycle Performance, who built the engine. I have the actual screen that still has the Boosted Cycle Performance sticker on it. I just have to run the double bubble because I'm 6'7" and 320 pounds, so I'm not a small guy. Also, many thanks go out to Eric Higgins of H&H Racing in Lexington, Kentucky, Pro Street, Real Street, Pro Stock, NHRA, Drag Racing, champion of many years, decades, and winning mechanic for multitudes of riders and drivers. So he is the one who's done the internal engine checkup on it and just did the chain and sprockets and installed these tires. Now, it's a little dirty. Well, why? Because I already ran 250 miles on it to make sure it was testing out fine, engaging, disengaging the clutch fine, no false neutrals, nothing. This thing is ready to roll. You come and buy this, you can go and hit the street today. Not tomorrow, not down the week, not have to take it to your buddy to get shit worked on. No, this thing is ready to roll today. It hurts me to have to sell it. It was my dream bike before the Gen 3s came out, and even then, still my dream bike because it's a turbo. I wanted a turbo Busa since I saw a Velocity Stage 2 setup that a guy ran here in town in Lexington, Kentucky back in the early aughts, the early thousands. And I always wanted an RCC Stage 2 Ultra setup. Now Richard has now got the GT35R based Ultra setup, which you can get that turbo and change it over. Now, will it engage a little bit faster if you do a dual ball bearing? Yes. If it's a journal bearing 35R, no, not really. It's still going to kick in starting at about 5,000 and full on boost at 7,000 to redline, which is 12,005 again on this. So this thing is ready to roll. You can go out today in this wind, this 90-degree weather in Kentucky. You'd be down in Texas where it was tuned. On the other ECU that I've still got that was Rob's tuned, the reason I don't run it is because it was set up to run the ICS for the idle control. It doesn't work. I don't care what anybody tells you. Anybody trying to run an ICS valve still on a turbo, it's not gonna work. Going down the drag strip, sure, it's fine. Running on the street, roll racing, fuck no. You're gonna kill yourself because the damn thing won't idle right. It'll keep on bouncing from 1,500 to 3,000 RPMs at least, if not more when it gets hot. So, do you want to run the ICS? Fuck no. Is it still on there? Yeah. Is it good? Yeah. So, if you wanted to take this thing back to stock, you can do it. But it idles right now at about 13 to 13.5 when it gets hot. That's 1,300 and 1,350 RPMs. Sorry to talk so much about this. I am so sick and tired of answering questions on it. If you know what this bike is, and you know the history of it, if you're in land speed record racing, or land speed racing, you know this bike. If you don't know this bike, go do your homework. Talk to David Thompson, the original owner. He actually is still alive. He's just not racing anymore because he retired. And it was too expensive for him to go to the Loring racing track. Loring, you say? Yeah, that's where those are from. Has it been up to Loring since? No. Did I want to go this year? Yeah. Hey, if you're in this area, go to Indy Time Attack in June, up at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This thing's ready. You want to go roll race it, get yourself in deep shit with the cops? Fine. Whatever. It's your prerogative. Whatever you want to do, this thing will do it. Again, gotten long-winded with this one. My name is Jared. Last name Seymour. That's my real name. No, it isn't my stage name. Hence the JS in JS Too Fast For You on Instagram, YouTube, and also on TikTok. That's what it stands for. Too Fast For You kind of makes sense, duh. It's fast. Now, are there other bikes that make more power? Yeah, but they're drag queens. No, not the ones that dress up in ladies' clothes that are actually men. Now, that's something entirely different. No, I'm talking about, this is not only a drag racing bike, only a land speed bike, only a roll race bike, only a daily bike. You can go ride this thing 200, 300, 1,000 fucking miles if you wanted to, and it's not going to be a problem. Is it going to be thirsty? Well, yeah, it's a turbo bike. Just like the H2s, if you ever talk to anybody that owns a Ninja H2, forced induction bikes are thirsty. You're putting more fuel through the engine. Now, I've given you a lecture. You don't need it. If you're looking at this, you want it, you call me. I'm at 859-536-4447. Once again, 2008 Suzuki, fully built, ready to roll, turbo Hayabusa on a 430 horsepower, 93 octane tune. Has a switch in the hump also to go to C16 meth. All you gotta do is throw the switch, drain your tank, throw C16, go to the racetrack, and then this thing instantly will boost to 25 psi. Now, do you want to run that on 93 octane? No. But we can go into more details, more specs if you call me and you are serious. Please don't waste my time. Is it available? Will you take my Geo Metro? Will you take my rusted out Geo Tracker? Will you take my grandma's old 88? Hell no. Hell no. Anyways, I hope you all are having a great summer. We only got a little bit left, unfortunately. Hopefully everybody's staying healthy. It's been a good 2023 for us. Hope it has been for you and your family. Again, if you're interested, man, give me a call. 859-536-4447. There'll be a shorter video of this to come.